Last week, a group named Revolution Now came out to protest for good governance, good security of life and property against corruption, and also to mark the one-year remembrance of their first protest and arrest of their leader, Mr. Omoyele Sowore, who was arrested on the 5th of August 2019 and was 2019, but was not released until 24th December 2019. These protesters were later disrupted by the security agencies, and some of their members were also arrested during the protests in various parts of the country. Remember, on the program last week, we had a Southern Kaduna citizen who gave us first-hand information on the killings in Southern Kaduna, and he called for the safety of Nigerians by the government, because that is their primary responsibility. So today, we shall be looking at the topic, Fight for a Better Nigeria. And with us in the studio is a learned gentleman who will be telling us on how to engage a peaceful fight for our rights and for the betterment of our country. He is the Reverend Barrister Anozie Chinonso Nadozie, a legal practitioner and a priest of the Diocese of Abuja. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much for having me, and good morning, viewers.
So, viewers, we shall observe a short break to take a look at a video of the protest that happened last week by the Revolution Now group.
Because as it is now, it is very obvious that Nigeria is on a downward trail, and there is need to awaken us as a people. And I believe that the best way to do that is through peaceful process all across the cities of this nation, because the leadership obviously don't seem to get it. Most of what is happening now, as far as the news we are hearing about NDDC, EFCC, and what have you, no serious action is being taken. It's being taken with levity. And unfortunately, our people will seem to be very docile. If we can get up and get off our beds and go to the streets and protest peacefully, the government will begin to listen. But as it is now, things are happening and nobody seems to be doing anything, and more worse things are happening. You look at the killings in Southern Kaduna, which has been very consistent in the past few years, and the government of the day seem to have no clue on what to do. The governor is practically not doing anything, and people are being killed and maimed and butchered.
Nigeria must be free. Nigeria must be free. Nigeria, Nigeria, Nigeria must be free. Nigeria must be free. Nigeria must be free. Nigeria, Nigeria, Nigeria must be free. From Buhari must go. We are tired. We are tired. We are tired of Buhari. Buhari, Buhari must go. Buhari must go. We are tired. We are tired. We are tired of Buhari. He must go. Buhari must go. Buhari, Buhari must go. We are tired. We are tired. We are tired of the greatest Nigerian people. Of the greatest Nigerian people. Of the greatest Nigerian people. Greatest Nigerian people. Every time we gather to talk about Nigeria, it is the same policemen, the same DSS, who are suffering like us, who have not been paid their salaries, whose parents and children are suffering like me and you. They are the people they will always send to come and disperse us. Every time we gather, they will send them to come and arrest us. They will lock us up. But you know what? We will not be tired until we see a new Nigeria. We will not be tired until these looters leave our country alone. We have come here today because this movement represents the ordinary people like you who are in the market. This movement represents the market woman and the market man like you are here today. And we have come to tell you people that no matter how they arrest us, no matter how they lock us up, they locked me up in prison for 6 months. I am back home and I am carrying this megaphone again. I am ready to return to prison until this country becomes a better country for all of us. We will not be tired. These criminals must leave our country alone. These criminals must fulfill their campaign promises. And that is why me and you must be ready to kick them out by the next election. We will not be afraid. Revolution! 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 Revolution now! We can breathe! 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 Revolution now! Kulu kulu! Kulu kulu! I will continue from where I stopped. What we want to tell the Nigerian people is that there are two twins, two Siamese twins, who are holding Nigeria by the jugular. And the name of those twins is APC and PDP. These are the two behemoths, the two criminal gangs. They are worse than Boko Haram. They are worse than the militants in the Niger Delta. They are worse than kidnappers. These two people called APC and PDP. Until the Nigerian people are ready to go out there and bring them down. We are ready to go out there and vote them out. This country will not change. But I put it on you that no matter how they arrest us, no matter how they change us, we will not be afraid of their black barriers. We will not be afraid of their rifles. We will not be afraid of their tear gas. We will continue to sing and shout until the day we see a new Nigeria. Of the greatest Nigerian people. Conscious revolution. Conscious revolution. The only way to save Nigeria. No, is making all of us angry. We are angry. The entire prisons in Nigeria, the capacity of all the entire prisons in Nigeria can only carry 40,000 people. If 100,000 Nigerians yesterday, they cannot arrest us. We can change this country if we want to, inside one day. By the time all of us gather outside, all these people pursuing us, they cannot chase us away. But I believe the hungry never catch us rich. That's why they are coming, Abi. Why are you running?
They don't come again, no.
They have come. They're always chasing us around.
But they got a huge shock as the police, soldiers and DSS operatives took them by surprise and hounded them across streets and districts within Abuja, beginning from the Unity Fountain to the Transcorp Hilton Junction and the Beggar Runabout. We eventually caught up with the Abuja leader of revolutionary protests, Deji Adeyanju, who sneaked out of hiding to speak with Arise News.
This is a democracy. This is not a military regime. These Abacha tactics that we are witnessing in the country is very sad. It's unfortunate. And you can see they are telling journalists to leave the place, leave here, do this. So it's quite terrible. It's terrible, but the government must realize that this is a democracy.
The combined team of policemen Department of State Service hounded the protesters at separate venues and districts. The Revolution Now protesters kicked against efforts by the Buhari administration to shut their views from public discourse on national issues.
Nigeria is currently in a state of emergency. Our country has been reduced to a surrender situation, and we cannot continue like this. And this is the reason why we all have come out today to show our displeasure to let the Nigerian government understand that there's a need for us to have sincere change. If you have a government who has its neck well screwed on its shoulder, if you have a government that is serious about the welfare of the people, by now the service chiefs would have been removed. By now a lot of things would have been overhauled in this country.
Journalists were also not left out, including the Arise News crew, as the convoy of security officials trailed reporters in a bid to prevent them from doing their jobs. Government officials were unwilling to comment on the protests, but the pro-Buhari group, the Buhari Media Organization, in a statement, commended the police, soldiers and DSS for foiling the protests, which they claimed was an agenda to push a disruption in the current government using the toga of freedom of speech.
Thanks for staying tuned and welcome back. Let's kick off with our discussion. What can you say about the protest that happened last week and, of course, the video that we just watched?
Thank you very much. First of all, let's start from the protest. There is nothing wrong in the protest. People have the right to protest, especially when you have a common interest, especially when something that is happening, you're not happy about it. So you have that right to protest. But from the video we just watched, you agree with me what has happened. Just one of the protesters was saying that it's unfortunate that people or the police officers or the security agencies that's supposed also to be among the people protesting are the people arresting them. Now, you see people being maimed and butchered. Nobody's arresting them. Nobody is trying to go. In fact, no information leading to the arrest. Not even one trial. Not even one arraignment to the court. But people that are fighting for the betterment of the nation, they are the people being arrested. I think it's totally unconstitutional.
It's very, very sad.
Very, very sad and totally unconstitutional. And what the protesters are doing are also being embedded in the Constitution. They have the right to do what they are doing. If you permit me to read, I think we have a copy of Constitution here, section 4.
Now, before we even get there, remember that this present government,
yes,
one of the tools that they use to be able to come to power is protest.
Yes.
You remember the protest
even President Buhari
in
himself,
2014?
Yes, President Buhari, the incumbent Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, they were all there. We saw them. And nobody arrested
Tunde Bakari. All of them were out protesting.
Nobody
protest. You will be arrested.
I mean, it's totally ironical and funny. Something that brought you to power, because I would say it's one of the ways of the people being
exactly.
And now they are arresting people because they are in power. It's something that is totally unconstitutional. Totally unconstitutional. And nobody's happy about it.
All right, so you will now tell us, what does the Constitution say about protest of citizens or
yes,
groups?
I was about to say that.
Please,
and I said that it is totally constitutional, you know, when you want to protest. And we can see that in chapter 4. Of course, chapter 4, the whole chapter 4 of the Constitution talks about fundamental human rights.
Okay.
But based on this question, we are specifically looking at section 40.
Okay.
I don't want to read it by heart so that they will not say, this man is saying something that, no. I have a copy of Constitution here. So let me read it, section 40. Right to peaceful assembly and association. Say, every person shall be entitled to assemble freely and associate with other persons. And in particular, he may form or belong to any political party, trade union, or any other association for the protection of his interests. And Revolution Now falls under the ambit of other association for the protection of his interests. And nobody will say that what is happening in the country is happy. Anybody that says that is very, very economical with the truth. And these young men and women have said no. That this is not something that ought to be. We must do something. And that is why they have come, so that people will hear them out. And you see security agencies arresting them. I mean, it's totally unconstitutional. And it's not something that is expected for a country such as Nigeria.
Now, these protesters are not even carrying weapons.
Not at all.
They're just making speeches.
Exactly.
Singing their songs.
Yes.
Gathering together.
Yes.
So what will you say is the reason for the arrest?
That is what I'm saying. You see, when there is a breakdown of law and order, this is what you see in such a community. Now, just like I said, I have not seen where the government have arrested any person. All these people that are killing in northern part of the country, southern Kaduna. What we hear, they will come and say, we are on top of the situation. Which top? Which situation? And this, that is why the Constitution says peaceful. You didn't see them with any stick. You are talking about guns. There's no stick. There's nothing. It's not even picketing. They are just saying that what we are saying on how these people are is bad. I mean, if what they are saying is true, the only thing you have to do is to change.
Exactly.
The issue of arresting them is something that's not supposed. It's totally unconstitutional. Totally unconstitutional. And people are just there. You see people, some of them will come and clap, you know. They know they have to be arrested and all that. And behind, they will say, I mean, it's too bad. Until we have come to say the things that's supposed to be and do the right thing, this nation will. Until those people killing people, the northern part of the country, southern Kaduna and all that, until we see them, they have arraigned these people, they have arrested. We know, not people that are going on the streets without anything. Very innocent, they don't have anything. You are arresting them. All right. I think the leadership of this country. I remember some years back when he was protesting.
Thank you so much, Anozie. Now, looking at other countries of the world, do you think that protest has always been a useful tool to score a point with the government of the day?
Yes, I think so, yes. In fact, let's not even go far to start digging down in history. The one that just happened recently. Let's also know one of the fundamental things of protest. To bring out, just like we have read from the Constitution, to achieve a common interest. We are not happy about and want to. Look at what happened in the United States of America when George Floyd was pinned to death.
Yes.
In fact, almost that week, President Trump's seat was hot for him. For God's sake, these are people that elected you. So, going by your question, protest has been one of the tools. If you look at what is happening, and when you do all those things, the government should be able to listen. And know why these
protesters
people,
shouldn't be seen as threats.
Not at all. Not at all. Not
listen
at all.
to their plight.
Yes.
Listen to what they are saying.
About it.
And then address them.
And do something about it. It's not to arrest, because even if you arrest, it was Mahatma Gandhi that says that when you kill somebody or crusader of truth, you will kill the person, but you have not killed the truth. The truth will definitely suffice. That's Mahatma Gandhi for you. So even if they keep on arresting, killing and sentencing people, you will see them coming up until that issue is being addressed. It's just like where there's a mess and you come and spray the film, and that mess will still be there until you must have cleaned the mess, wash it. So it is with this. Until you listen to these protesters, what they are saying, look at their plights, address them. What are the possible means by which we must have to settle this issue? Until we must have done that, they will continue. Let them arrest dozens. It will continue.
All right, thank you so much, Anozie. Now, talking about some of the things they are protesting, security of life. We all agree that in this country, killing is no longer anything. People are being killed on a daily basis. If not killing of people, innocent citizens, there are also kidnappers here and there. Bandits are also here and there. I learned that in Katsina, bandits are now collecting tax from the people. If you don't pay, you will be dealt with. In this country, in the state where Mr. President comes from, these things is happening. And then they are also talking about corruption. Look at what is happening in NDDC. Look at what happened in EFCC. And all of those things. These are the things that they should just look into it and find a way of solving the problem. Because arresting, I don't know how they want to solve this problem by arresting people. So, now on this group, Revolution Now, tell us about the agreement that was made between Revolution Now group leader and the federal government.
In fact, that agreement, let me just bring it in a nutshell, is something that is funny. You know, I think it's based on that they came to arrest these people, that there should not be any protests. In fact, I won't call it an agreement, because I don't think they settled amicably. No protest. The international passports of Nigeria was seized. You should not be criticizing the government. You should not talk against the government. I mean, it's very funny.
What do you think the government is trying to do on this?
All the things they are trying to, you know, they're trying to silence the citizens. You see, in a democratic dispensation, it is the government that should be afraid of the people, not the other way around.
So the citizens are the powerful,
exactly,
is the powerful
because
office.
They elected you there, but they are afraid of the government. So the government won't just. But you see, let me also go to if this APC government. I know when PDP were in power, there are the people saying, in fact, at a point, the incumbent Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, addressed and advised the APC National Assembly members, whether House of Representatives, that they should, if I, you know, cause problem and they should, any resolution or any bill they bring, they should. And these people now, they are now in power. And you see, when you see all these leaders or political leaders, when they are shouting, it's because it is on their own personal selfish interest. Underline selfish interest.
Exactly.
Selfish interest.
There is no national interest.
You see somebody shouting, no, this country, no. Maybe a few days they will just give the person small appointment. Brother, I say, no, there are many things you have to understand. It's very funny. So the government wants to silence everybody, but they will not succeed. Citizens put you there through the election. And that is also our advice to some of our electorates. You know, oftentimes we are co-authors of our own misfortune. When you want to tell people, please, why do you want to elect this person? Say, no, let him go. Let him go. No, we know him. But you know, this person is a thief. You say, yes, we know, but it's our own thief. You know, this ownership of thieves have brought us to this place. Because I know during the election of the president, say Baba, say Baba, say Baba. Now, I have not heard that say Baba for some time now. It's the ability for us to get it right. So the government is trying to suppress, you know, and oppose anybody.
You must not say anything.
But that is not democracy. We are not in military regime.
The freedom of expression that is enshrined in the Constitution.
Precisely Section 39 of the Constitution.
They are trying to take it away from us.
Which is unconstitutional on their own part, and they will not succeed. So President Buhari must have to be called to order. He's the number one citizen. There's nothing that any citizen requires from you, or Nigerian citizen, or Nigerian people, from president, is to do what they're supposed to do. You are being paid by the taxpayers' money. You are comfortable. You are in the villa. Then render services to these people that are elected. That's what these protesters are talking about. There's no other thing.
All right. Now, Barrister, let's take a critical look at the Revolution Now group.
Yes.
Is there anything they are doing that is unconstitutional, that is the cause for all this arrest? Is there anything they are doing which we don't see?
Well, it would have been the advice, but I think the question have prompted for me to do it. I wanted to put it at the end of the program. One, first of all, we have to look at the name. You know, nomenclature matters in anything.
Yeah.
Why you choose, or your parents gave you smart, and that is why you are a smart person. Let me start from there. Now, the word revolution, if they can polish it a little bit and bring out a better name, in a simple definition of revolution, revolution is an overthrow. Revolution is a overthrow or of an existing government, you know, through forceful way. Do you understand what I'm saying now? So it seems negative. It's more of a treason. It's more of a coup in military. if they can come with something like reformation now, it would have been better. Reformation is a positive way of change.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm communicating. So maybe based on that, and when you talk about revolution, it sounds
so
negative.
It is the
so
name.
The government becomes threatened by the name alone. So we must have to get it right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't. But
Okay.
in all the things that the activities they are doing, of course, when they must have changed the name, then there are other ways, because I think the essence of this program is to look at the peaceful way whereby which you can fight and achieve your common goal. And protest is also good, but let them not be confrontational and, you know, fearful, and like when they were singing Buhari must go, and now if Buhari goes, what makes you think that the person coming will not do the worst? So we must have to, you know, do exactly. Let you not be, if they can, first of all, let them start from the name. If I'm to advise, get a better name more than that revelation, and then they continue. And there are other ways which, maybe in the course of a discussion, other ways which you can get whatever peacefully without any violence.
Thank you so much, Anozie. Viewers, we go on a short break, and when we return, discussion continues.
We talk of better Nigeria, it is not left, it should not be left for the government alone. Every citizen in this country should be involved. Corruption, but most of us are corrupt. A woman selling in the market will want to cut ends in order to get more money. Somebody in the office, even the transporters. So it is for us to know the right thing to do. It is for us to fear God and obey the commandments of God. For us to fight corruption in this country must start with us as individuals, must start at home. There are some families that children will be asked to buy something. After going, they will come back, they will not give back the change to their parents. They will not tell the parents how much they've spent. So for us to fight corruption, it must start from the home. It must start from us as an individual before we start calling on the government.
I think it is high time we should come to a table and sit at the round table as all the peoples of the nation Nigeria. In fact, as it is, Nigeria is not even a nation state as presently constituted. Sit down on a round table and talk about what we want to do with Nigeria. Do we want to stay together? Do we want to go our different ways? If we do that, what are going to be the conditions, the conditionalities of what is going to happen? But you note that it's like we are about, there seems to be no captain. People are nobody is taking decisions. Nobody is addressing the nation as to what to do and where to do it and how to do it. So unless people begin to protest peacefully, these things will continue to abate. And I pray that God will help us to help ourselves. We call ourselves a prayerful nation, but we must take action. It has gone beyond prayer. The Bible said that faith without works is dead. So we need to take action, and that action is through peaceful protest. If you look at what happened in the United States just very recently over the Black Lives Matter, people went to the streets and the government began to listen, you know, and you have situations now where corporations all across the globe are donating hundreds of millions of dollars for black causes because people took action. So that's what we need to do here. Get to the streets all across the nation. It's happening in Kano, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Enugu, all over the nation, all the big cities, even the urban areas. We need to do something, and I pray that there shall be that awakening in our land, in Jesus' name.
Everybody should take responsibility, but the government should try and provide security for us as citizens. Try and take responsibilities. If you know where you are going that is not secured enough, please avoid such places. And some of our places like the southern Kaduna that people have been slaughtered and killed and houses burned, government should do something. The military should try as much as possible to provide security for them and not just saying that we've done this, we've done that. The soldiers should be on ground to make sure that the lives and properties of people are secured.
Well, for the Nigerian citizen, it is in line that the government should provide security, protection of lives and property for those who dwell therein in the nation. But with the situation on ground, we can see that there is a lot of trampling of people, and rights are also being trampled upon, and particularly the one that has to do with inalienable rights of the citizen. Sometimes people are clamped down, thrown into prison or police detention without what we call a kind of a fair hearing, which is a negation of somebody's right. And I recall that in the Garden of Eden, even when Adam did not get it right, God was very calm, God was very fair. He was asking Adam, where are you? And Adam was giving lame excuses. But the thing you discover there is that at least God had time to ask, to inquire. He did not act immediately. But now you see that we are helpless. And then by a little extension, that's why we have the cause. When rights are being trampled upon, we are not living in a brutish state of life. That is where people can go for redress. But you know the problem now, going to court, you must have some money. Going to court, you must hire lawyers to come and stand for you. But as for going to ask, it's a right of every citizen. But the other dimension to it, do you have the money to prosecute? That's why some people are still feeling at the cost, really, the last hope of the common man. But we continue to try and continue to call upon the less privileged and the trampled upon to continue to press home their demands through the law courts. There are some people who volunteer to stand in for them even when they have no money to do so. I think that's the only thing we can do to ensure that rights are strengthened and not trampled upon.
Viewers, thank you for staying tuned, and we are glad to know that you are still there with us. We still have in the studio a learned gentleman, the Reverend Barrister Anozie Chinonso Nadozie, who has been talking to us on the topic, Fight for a Better Nigeria. And from the Vox poll we've just watched, the wife of the Prime specifically made a point. We talk to the government about fight against corruption, that it has to start with us. We need to look at ourselves as individuals, look at our families. If we're able to fight against corruption in our families, then it will be easy for the government to be able to fight the corruption. Do you agree with her assertion?
Totally, totally. You know, before we went for break, I was talking about the issue of a particular person or group of people, even the revolution now. If you give them opportunity now to get there, don't be surprised they will do the worst. So, in line with what the Prime Minister, what the Prime Minister's wife just said in the divorce, but I think we must have to reorient ourselves.
Nigeria need orientation,
exactly.
Generally.
Starting from the family. If you are seeking for political office, why are you seeking for the political office?
That's right.
That's number one. We must be able to make a distinction or to understand between seeking to go and work and to go and privatize public wealth. In fact, I dare say, if you want to be rich without working towards it at all, join Nigerian politics. Without working for it at all, start from councillor.
In fact, someone was saying something. Sorry to come in here.
Yes.
I watched a video clip this man that was talking is a lawmaker, and he said the moment he won election, that some of the loan given to him from the bank, he has not opened bank account with this bank. They gave him a credit card that is having $40,000. They gave him a loan that is almost 400 million naira. And he look at his salary, 700,000 monthly, which is 30-something million at the end of the year. He said, how do they want him to be able to pay for this loan? To now go in all of your oversized functions, you still to be able to meet up with this obligation. He said banks are also the greatest corrupt industry in Nigeria. Because you can't carry billion of naira in your boot. You can't carry it to your house. You put it in the bank. You could imagine somebody telling us this prophet Amale in Lagos, who they said Magu was using him to buy houses in Dubai. CEO of a bank is coming out to tell us that they mistakenly transferred 537 million.
It's an old story I've heard. It's one of the busiest stories. It's infantile. It's funny. It's
very, very sad what we are, the problems we have in this country.
Indeed.
So continue with your discussion.
So what I'm saying is that, we must have to reorient ourselves. Until we have come to the point we are starting from us, even the youths, seeking political office to change.
Exactly.
When
service must be the focus.
That if you look at the Western world, in America, for example, or in anytime there's anything like probe, the first thing is for them to resign, because they see political office as a duty.
Exactly.
Not to go. Let me give even
the explosion that happened recently.
Exactly.
All of the government officials in Lebanon resigned. In Nigeria, no shaking.
No, it's not possible. If you say anything, they'll put you into prison. Let me even ask you, you see, if a salary, for example, somebody wants to enter maybe a civil servant, and his salary per annum is 1 million, for example, or 2 million, and he's about to seek a political office that will cost him 1 billion, and he's ready to do anything to get to that political office. Smart, there's something that they are seeing that we electorate.
It is not about the salary.
Yeah, but I know what that is, and I don't want to tell you.
Okay.
It is the privatization of what? Public wealth.
Exactly.
To go and loot. And I said it before in this program, that oftentimes we the electorate are the co-authors of our own misfortune. When somebody will tell you, no, so why do you want to vote for this person? You know he's a thief. I say, yes, we know he's a thief, but he's ours, because he's an Igbo man. So this ownership of thieves must stop. That's why I said we must have to reorient ourselves on why we are seeking to go to. Even this, that's why I say these people protesting now. If they are giving up, because when you look at Buhari some years, these are people protesting, especially Lai Mohammed.
And they're doing the same thing today.
Modern now. Modern. So I totally agree with the wife of the primate. We should start from home to inculcate our children why we have to see, or not only political office, where we are. Even a gate man in your office or wherever, before you see the person trying to before you just grease my palm. You see, corruption is everywhere. We must have to reorient ourselves before we can get it right.
Thank you so much. Now, someone said that the people who are waiting to steal are more than the people who are already stealing in Nigeria.
Yes.
And I totally agree.
Yes, that's what we're discussing.
So until there is a national orientation, until we decide that there is transformation, we will not get away from this problem.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Because those who be speaking against the government, the moment they have opportunity, they go in there, they will even do worse than the government.
Yes. Look at this young man that is one-time AIT staff, Ajurin Gelele. When some of you saw his program, I look at him. And now they have made him the person advisor on political. Yes, on political. And he's talking what?
All right, thank you so much. Now, I know do we as citizens have to make our leaders give us good governance, and how do we go about it?
Rights of accountability. We have the right to ask questions. We will have the right for us to air our view, freedom of expression, just like what we are doing now. It's not the issue after me speaking here now, I'll be arrested. It doesn't make sense. The way we have to go is for us to tell, and let me tell you, Smart, most citizens of Nigeria don't want much. No, not everybody wants to go to Bahamas.
No, just basic infrastructure.
Not everybody wants to fly private jets.
No.
Not everybody wants to have
give them good roads.
All they need is just give them good roads, sir. Give them good hospital. Let
give them light.
Infrastructure. Protect the lives and
that is it.
Citizens.
Every Nigeria will survive.
That's all. So if we have to be speaking this way and to have the peaceful protest, which is in the ambit of the Constitution, it is in the ambit of the Constitution. We have that freedom of expression, freedom to air our views, freedom to protest, to talk about our common goal, our interests, on how this nation will be better. And I think our leaders should listen to us. They should listen to us. And now look at what is happening in Edo State now. And I see ex-chairman, immediate past chairman, eating corn. You know, we have produced the leaders by which after for 4 years we start eating corn to go to another 4 years.
Exactly.
And of course we are so vulnerable that we come and we'll be shouting. You see, vulnerability of the electorate is too much. And we'll clap for them. And the other time I was watching him kneeling down before the traditional rulers in Edo State. I say he made a mistake. Can you just approbate and reprobate at the same time? So we really need to, say these things out so that they will see reasons and change. That is what until we must have gotten all these things right this way, we are not heading to any place. We really have to get it right.
So how comes that the citizens of our country don't demand for good governance from their own leader? The leader they elect will go into position and do whatever they like, and the citizens don't seem to be doing anything. I don't think that the protest now that is going on should just be about revolution now. The protest is supposed to be done by all citizens of the country, because every segment of this country, people are being killed.
Exactly. Just like we said before, that protest is one way. We are looking at other forms of getting it right. Protest is another way. And what we are doing now is also another way.
Freedom.
So everybody must have to play his own part. Both of us, we are playing our own part on this platform. Not everybody must go to protest. Not everybody will come to this studio to speak. Whichever little way. You can start to write an article. You can start to make some publications that the government, I remember those days, the delegate of those days, despite that, of course, he died how he died, but he was making sense in his publications. Every hands must be on deck to see, because these things, if we continue this way, our children will not have any hope. Look at the kind of loans that we have borrowed, that even our children to up to third generation will not pay. Billions of dollars. And very funny, when you look at these loans, what they are doing with it. I mean, it's recently NDDC chairman saying that they use 1.6 billion or thereabouts to take care of themselves in palliative.
What kind of palliative?
You can imagine. And it's like we now, Nigeria is now in the business of raising political leaders that when they eat and you arrest them, they will faint. Let me give you an example. In January 2005, Tafa Balogun fainted when he was arrested. October 2016, Femi Fani Kanyode fainted. May 2018, Olisa Metu fainted. After looting what he has looted. July 2018, Ayo Fayoshe fainted. December 2018, Rita Ophelia Jumogobia fainted. January 2019, Senator Juno Melayo fainted. June 2017, Desi and Alice Madeke fainted. And July recently, 2020, Professor Ponde Kenneth fainted. So it's as if whenever you go there and loot, if they arrest you, you faint, and everything has gone. All these people have called their names. How many times have you seen them being rearrested again or rearranged? We really have to get it right.
Speechless.
We really have to get it right.
So fainting didn't start this year?
No.
It has always been the style.
And just like I said, if another younger politician or leader want to seek, so he will also go there and loot. After all, I will faint once I'm being arrested and he's gone. It's something that is very funny at the same time pathetic. We must have to get it right. or else we'll continue to speak in this platform and protest whichever way. And at the end of the day, I believe one day, just like one of the person was speaking in the voice, but that is not only on Prayer Nation. We must have to come out and speak out. And when you do it, no matter whatever thing it is, I still remember the words of Mahatma Gandhi, that even if you kill the person, but the truth, you can never kill the truth.
All right, thank you so much. Now, can you help us right now? Tell us some of the responsibilities of the people we have elected into position. You know, we have three arms of government.
Yes.
The executive,
yes,
the judiciary, and the legislature. If we can have, you know, their responsibilities, in case someone is ignorant, that is why they are doing what they are doing, so that they will get to know that, look, when you occupy these positions, these are some of the things that is expected of you.
Thank you very much. I think the Constitution also provided for what you call checks and balances. And you see that in any government or sovereign state, these three arms of government you mentioned is the key. You have the legislature, people that makes the laws. They have the primary duty to make the laws. And you have the judiciary that interprets the laws. And the executive now implements and enforces the laws. Now, when you have been elected to go to any of all these positions, like that of legislature in State House of Assembly in terms of states, and of course Senate and House of Rep in terms of National Assembly, it is the primary duty of any person that has been elected to make the right laws. It's unfortunate that oftentimes through the passage of Ghana Must Go, we put laws that are very, very obsolete and they can never be met. But it is the duty of those people elected to make them. And when they must have, you know, made the laws, the judiciary must have to interpret. And interpretation also goes to in terms of going to court. Look at what is happening in the political sector. Every little thing they go to court. And oftentimes it's like they force the judiciary to come. You know, oftentimes when you are a lay person, you read some of the judgments of all these judges and justices, you laugh. Just like the one that happened in Imo State. You see a court doing one thing or the other, they will bring one principle to nullify the other or just to favor one, and because they are the apex courts, there's no other place you have to appeal. So we really have to give the laws made by the legislature the right interpretation as the arm of judiciary. Then when that must have happened, the executive also have to implement and enforce based on the laws made by the legislation and the interpretation of the judiciary. But it's like what we have where the executive comes to hijack everything. You know, the executive has this enormous power that oftentimes you can't even check the executive. And when I mean the executive in terms of the state, the governor and president in federal, where a head of the governor or president as it were, we try to manipulate all these two arms of government. And we really must have to do something so that these checks and balances provided by the Constitution will actually be followed. And until we must have done that, we won't get it right.
All right, thank you so much. Now, quickly, what advice do you have for the masses and also our leaders in the fight for a better Nigeria?
Thank you very much. I think we must have to go back to Nigerian of 50s and 60s. I think it will help us. Why do I say that? I remember, if my history does not fail me, in Enugu, for example, the first mayor of Enugu State happens to be a man called Alhaji Umaru Altine. That man was elected by suffrage, majority simple suffrage, under the party of NCNC.
Wow.
He defeated an Igbo man in Enugu State. As at that time, the Attorney General of the Eastern Nigeria happens to be a Yoruba man. That is when Nigeria is really one Nigeria unity. I go further a little bit. The incumbent President General of ACNNTV during his university days in University of Ibadan dared to contest to vie the presidency of Students' Union Government, and won resoundingly and defeated one Yoruba man, where you know that University of Ibadan is dominated by 65% of Yoruba people. He did not win because he was an Igbo man, no. He won because there are some Yoruba people that said no. It is not based on ethnic extraction, but on what the candidates have to offer.
Yes, what they have to offer.
From the place I read in the Federal Government College of Kigwe, I see the time of making of head boys and head girls, Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa. You see, people that know what to offer.
So it was not about where you came from?
No, not at all. Until we have eradicated that issue of where you must have come from. That's number one. We must have to see ourselves as one. Whether Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, no. Can you do this? If he can do it and he's the best, we know that this our person cannot, let him go. So that we will get it right. It's not the issue is my political party.
Meritocracy.
No, it's not. We really have to get it right on that.
Merit.
The best,
based on merit.
Merit, let the person go. And I will end this advice by saying that attitude or the principle in piano or keyboard, I think we'll have it right in Nigeria. You know, in a keyboard you have white and black keys.
Yes.
You play the white, you play the black, you have symphony, you have sound, you have melody, and there is joy. So in our unguarded moments, if you can say, this Igbo, they are good for something. This Yoruba, they are good for something. This Hausa, they are good for something. This Efik, they are good for something. If we're able to gather all those, I think in my own mind and view, it is a total and perfect recipe for peace. Until we have come to the point where we'll be united as one Nigeria, regardless of religion and tribe, Nigeria will continue to suffer. So it's my advice that we have to see ourselves as one and do something we have to do, whether appointments or political or whatever, based on merits, and change our orientation. Until we must have done that, Nigeria will not have peace.
All right, we have to change our orientation. Until we do that, we will not get it right in this country. We want to thank our guest, the Reverend Barrister Anozie Chinonso Nadozie, a legal practitioner and the priest of the Diocese of Abuja. Thank you so much for coming to speak with us.
Thank you for having me,
on the topic, Fight for a Better Nigeria.
Thank you, sir.
So glad to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Viewers, that is it. Politics is unavoidable and necessary. Therefore, every one of us, all hands must be on deck to ensure that we have good governance in this country. Until we come your way again, same time, same station, next week, I remain Smart Simon.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and viewers and does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the Advent Cable Network Nigeria, ACNNTV.